This is Pulse 95.
Pulse 95.
It's the Morning Majlis. It's the Morning Majlis.
Hi everybody, good morning. Welcome back to the Morning Majlis, the show where we talk about stories shaping the headlines, and we've got a lot to discuss this morning. Rent. That's a topic that's been a point of discussion here across the United Arab Emirates, particularly in the neighboring Emirate of Dubai, where rent has been dropping quite significantly. It's got a lot of people scratching their heads, maybe considering a move from another emirate. But we're going to be talking about Sharjah's residents, and what they are doing in light of these circumstances. How many of those people have been moving? Have they been changing places? What's the state of rent in Sharjah anyway? How far down have prices gone, and how is this set to shape up in the future? Stay tuned as we discuss that on the Morning Majlis.
Yes, Ahmed, and we all know that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia had suspended all Umrah pilgrimage in March due to COVID-19, but it thankfully went through with phase 1 of the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah's 4-stage resumption plan, which allowed local citizens and residents to return from October 4th. Well, now, happy news, Saudi Arabia's Ministry of Hajj and Umrah has laid out the guidelines for receiving pilgrims from outside the kingdom, which will be permitted starting November 1st as part of its phased resumption of Umrah services. So if you're planning your Umrah trip, well, anytime after November 1st, you got to listen up, because we have all the rules and guidelines that you should follow and keep in mind before you travel and after you arrive in KSA and when you want to return back home.
Yeah, well, Umrah pilgrimage certainly a key aspect of our lives. One thing that I'd like to ask you all is to take a deep breath and then think about what you are looking forward to the most.
This weekend, you mean?
Well,
or in life?
Some people would say life in general. I'd say look forward to this weekend.
Be specific. Okay, this weekend.
Let's look forward to this weekend.
I know what I'm going to do this weekend.
Yeah?
At least the first day.
At least the first day. Mm-hmm. So everyone, catch Rania live in action and She's Park.
Literally, I will be there.
Thursday morning.
Morning.
I went down there yesterday after the show, and that was a lot of fun. I'll be talking to you about what's happening and why is Khorfa Khan and the Eastern region a place that you should explore and what you can do.
It's flourishing.
It is.
Great word.
Oh, yeah, it definitely is. And lots of floral spaces as well to look forward to, you know. So there is, it is amazing in terms of how She's Park has come into being. I'll be talking to you about all that just after the news headlines. In fact, we'll continue the discussions here on the Morning Majlis. And then if you've got a particular spot for your long weekend celebrations, let us know on the text lines 4215, and we'd love to get your thoughts on the program. Stay with us. This is the Morning Majlis only on Pulse 95, and you can also catch the visual experience of the Morning Majlis and all other shows on Pulse 95 Radio. Just search for Pulse 95 Radio on YouTube. We're live streaming all of our shows on that platform, so it'll be great for you to join in the discussions there as well. And of course, you can text us on 4215 the traditional way, and we'll be right back after some musical entertainment.
Pulse 95. Between local lines. Notes from the Emirate.
It's no secret I'm jealous of you, Abdul Karim, because of your visit to She's Park before me.
Oh.
But the good thing is that you have all the information on what to do there, what to expect, what's good, what's not good. So can you tell us?
Yeah, it's a great place to explore, to be honest. It is. She's Park is a very new destination in the Emirate of Sharjah. It's at the start of Khorfa Khan. So as soon as you enter Khorfa Khan region, after the first tunnel, and then you've got of course, once you go through those tunnels, you've got the Wadi Rafisa Dam, and then you've got the Khorfa Khan city, and then of course there's as I described it in the video, an aesthetic makeover for Khorfa Khan beach. So that's something great to look forward to.
You feel like it's the new tourism attraction go-to spot, let's say?
Yes, it is.
Khorfa Khan in general.
Khorfa Khan in general, family friendly, I'd say. If someone's going out there to look for an adventure and look for a let's say something a bit more different, then I'd say then you can look at other parts of the country, because especially on long weekends, there's going to be a lot of families.
So how many hours will I block out for my day?
You can spend the whole day.
Really?
You can start the days. And now this is where a lot of people get the long weekends wrong. A lot of people wake up, chill and say, we'll leave at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
We'll get the picnic basket ready. Mummy wants to go pack some more food. Daddy wants to do this. The kids want to use the last minute loo breaks. And then you leave at 4 p.m. That's a day wasted. Make the most of your day. I'd say leave around 10 a.m.
And it will take about 45 minutes if
It'll take an
if you live in
hour.
Sharjah.
If you live in
the heart
Sharjah
of
city
Sharjah.
centre, if it's the heart of Sharjah, then you're gonna if you're bang in the middle of Sharjah city centre, it's gonna take you an hour. If you're if you're close to where our offices are, because we've got
Government offices, buildings.
direct access to the motorway, so it's quicker. It will take you about 45 minutes.
45 minutes. Okay. So what's the first stop?
She's Park, straight up.
It's not Rafisa Dam.
No, Rafisa Dam's further down.
Further down.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you can stop off at Shees Park. You can explore that territory. And then if you fancy going down to Shees Hiking Trail, you can do that. It's further down. You go further down the valley, you'll reach the Shees Lake, Shees Little Pond, which is potable water, so you can drink it as well. So
Sportswear, guys, sportswear.
Yes, exactly. And comfy shoes, and then you can do the hiking trail there. That itself is a whole day spent in that Shees village. So you don't need to do anything else.
Can you bring your own food?
At the Shees Park? Yes, you can.
Probably should, yeah.
Yeah, probably can, because there is one coffee shop, and it is big enough, but on a long weekend, it won't be that big enough, because there'll be a lot of people.
And you can barbecue there.
You can barbecue. This is barbecue, and this is why I say go early, because the later you go, the more people will turn up, and there'll be less of a space, because it is 11,000 square meters of green space in the Shees Park, but it will get busy.
Okay.
It definitely will get busy, because it is a new destination. It's got a waterfall, so for your Instagrammable moments, brilliant spot. And if you are a bit of an adventurer, you can go all the way up to the top of the viewing platforms. That's where we went, and we were very tired. And you can take some nice shots from there, because you overlook the whole valley, and it's a beautiful destination. And within the surroundings of the mountainous terrain.
I saw your snapshots.
Yeah, it is great. I think Gabby and I really had a great time. And then, of course, if you're feeling a little bit more of a sea experience, you want to see the coastal area, then you can drive over to Khorfakan and approach the Khorfakan Beach waterfront project.
So let's say you'll spend about an hour or two.
In Shees Park?
In Shees Park.
Shees Park, you can easily spend an hour
Approximately.
or two. An hour or two if you're filming. And if you're there to relax and let your children play in the playground, then that's the whole day gone. That is the whole day, because the playground area, the soft play area as well, is very good.
And it's free to enter?
Free to enter the park. Plenty of benches around the shaded areas.
Perfect.
And barbecue pits, I would say, are about 10. And that's not enough.
That's why you need to get there early.
You need to get there early, because there'll be a lot of people using them. And if you're taking your own food, remember one thing. Do not leave your rubbish behind, because it's such a beautiful park, you don't want to ruin it. And this is the biggest fear. Gabby and I had this biggest fear. It's like, how will people treat it?
So after you're done with Shees Park, where do you go? Where do you suggest?
Rafisa Dam. Go for a bit of kayaking. And then that will burn you out. That'll be your energy done. Then you can drive back home. But if you're feeling a little bit more hungry, because the long weekend Khorfakan Beach is going to be very busy, go down to Khorfakan Beach once again early. If you go down during the evening, there's going to be long queues, so it's best to avoid it. So, Eastern region, it is, as I describe it, as jewel of the Emirate, or the jewel of the Eastern region, Khorfakan. Yeah.
So, Shees Park, Rafisa Dam, Khorfakan Beach.
Yes. That is your plan sorted.
That is your plan sorted, at least for the first day of the weekend.
Oh, there's 3 days, isn't
There's 3 days.
Okay, one day you can relax.
Believe it or not.
It's fine. One day you can relax. It's okay. You can do that. So you can have a lazy day. But so much to look forward to. So if you're planning on
when is this video going to be uploaded to our Instagram page, hopefully?
We're hoping they'll be done by tomorrow. Wednesday, we'll post it on our social media page, Pulse 75 Radio, so keep track of that.
Perfect.
And
can't wait.
It's going to be a lot of fun, to be honest.
Yeah.
It is going to be, and I'm sure Rani will have a cracking time. And
I'll give you my feedback on Sunday, inshallah.
And take my advice, go early, because
Definitely,
the later you go, the busier it gets, and then less of a pleasant experience you might have, because there's going to be... there's a lot of children, the young ones, they can be very noisy. And so that's something to look forward to. Stay with us on the Morning Majlis. Let us know on the text lines 4215 where you are thinking of going for this long weekend chills, and we will keep you motivated throughout the morning. We'll give you some advice as well where you can go. But for the time being, we'd like to let you relax with some tunes and prepare you for the road trip vibes here on the Morning Majlis.
Pulse 95. Between local lines. Notes from the Emirate. Pulse 95.
Well, we're talking about rent at the moment, the state of rent amid COVID-19. And across the country, we've seen prices for apartments, for villas drop down significantly, in fact. And looking at what's happening here in the Emirate of Sharjah, residents are reportedly staying put, deciding they're better off taking generous offers from their landlords than shifting to the neighboring emirate, where rent has seen, in some cases, a near 20% drop.
Yeah, so possibly for the first time, there's actually far fewer migration of Sharjah tenants trying to take advantage of the rental declines in the neighboring emirate. And that's because landlords across Sharjah, and especially those with older properties, are taking preemptive steps to try and stop tenants to move out or from moving out. And they certainly seem to have kind of hit a nerve with the job market situation yet to stabilize, and tenants reckon they will end up making more savings sticking with a landlord who is willing to drop rents and even offer more, basically.
I'm looking at offerings at the moment.
He's always looking at something.
Yeah, and you know, you can easily get a 3-bedroom villa, for example, for about 84,000 here in the Emirate of Sharjah. You can get a 75,000 for a 3-bedroom villa as well in Nazma Residence. 110,000 for a 5-bedroom villa, and this is in Barashi in Sharjah. In Mirgab as well, a bit more closer to town, 65,000 for a 5-bed villa. This is the price you'd pay for a 2-bedroom flat in Al Majaz back in the days.
Yeah.
And now the things are getting better. Now, one of the reasons why people opt to not move out from the current housing is cost of moving. Cost of moving on average is about 5,000 to 6,000 dirhams, I'd say. Maybe it could be more if you're using one of those expat-friendly services that are available on the fingertips of your phone, on the fingertips and on your phone very quickly. But
so many costs too. I mean, when you move to a different place, you've got to pay agent fees, all those startup costs.
Exactly.
It's not simply the move itself, and it could go way beyond the number that you stated there. So it's a major headache for a lot of people.
Exactly. So as soon as you think, okay, you know what, I'm going to save 10,000 dirhams from my rent, yearly rent, if I do make this move. It is a 10,000 dirham cost. It's your deposits for your sewer. It is a deposit.
So much that comes along with
exactly,
it.
Deposits for your new property. So you do need cash in hand to make that big step and move.
True.
And some landlords say 1 check, 3 checks, 2 checks, and then if they ask you for the first check, they'll encash that check immediately.
Yeah.
And that's also another point to consider. Do you have that flow? Do you have that capital ready for you to make that big move?
So much to think about. Yeah.
There is a lot to think about. So it's not an easy move. So let us know on the text lines 4215. Have you considered moving homes? And do you think it is a good idea to start moving at the moment? And has it encouraged you to make that big move? Now, a lot of people here in the Emirate of Sharjah, one of the only reasons, there's loads of reasons to love Sharjah and live here, but one of the major reasons of renting a place here when they're working in neighboring Emirates is the space.
Oh, yes.
The apartments are much bigger here.
Absolutely, they are.
Yeah. And, some apartments obviously have those car parks that they offer, which is great.
Yeah.
And people have this thought saying, oh, if I move closer to work, it might be better. Look, if you within the Emirates of Dubai, for example, when you're commuting to work, there is going to be traffic as well because certain pocket areas, certain business parks, they get busy upon entrances. So that's the point that people consider. And it's 10 to 20 minute wait on the motorways that, sometimes bothers people. But looking at overall picture, space is what they want. It's personal space.
Yeah.
They don't want to compromise on that.
Yeah.
I have that. I feel exactly what you're saying, and I totally agree with you because this is one of the reasons why I stayed in Sharjah this whole time. I wasn't in another emirate for a year. I didn't like it. And I liked it, but I preferred Sharjah, to be honest. So I went back to Sharjah, got a spacious apartment, very good deal, convenient because it's close to the neighboring emirate as well. It's in Al Khan area, so it's pretty close to the neighboring emirate and to a lot of destinations as well. I got great views as well from my apartment. I got a great car spot, shaded. In a shaded area. So
you got everything.
Indoor.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, so it's really nice. And now after the pandemic, they actually dropped the price for me.
That's what's happening
when I renewed
everywhere,
my contract.
Well,
they dropped a hefty 8,000 dirhams.
Oh wow.
Yeah, which
Nice.
is not little.
No, not normal.
Not little at all, and they're doing it across the board, giving a lot of tenants 2 to 3 months rent free. It's a pretty different situation now, and the power is more in the tenants' hands. Landlords don't want to risk having empty apartments. They'll do whatever they can to keep you inside. So leverage that situation. You have to. If you're negotiating a new contract, or you could speak to your landlord about easing the rent situation, because now more than ever, people are very concerned about affordability, being at a place where they feel stable and safe in this current climate, and lower rent is how they do that.
Yeah.
Back in the days, people used to flex their muscles with the landlords and say, you know what, I got a better deal, the other destination or other location. The landlords would say, okay, move. No problem.
Yeah,
Go to the other
now they
destination.
can't
They
do
can't
that.
say that.
They say, no, please.
We'll give you the better deal now.
Give you a better deal.
They'll beg you to stay.
And that's what the situation is. And yeah, just consider these points really. And it gets very enticing to think, oh, I'm going to save 12,000 on my rent, 10,000.
And it's not just the rent; it's the utility bills as well.
Consider the utility bills. A lot of people
Because sometimes it makes a big difference. It's like, the rent, the yearly rent of this apartment, for example, is this number, right?
Yeah.
But then you realize that chiller free and parking and all of that, sometimes it's all not included in the rent price.
Yeah.
So that means you're paying a lot more than what you think.
True, and there's a lot of people who'd be thinking, okay, I spend this much to live in an apartment now because things are cheaper. I might move to a villa. Another point to consider is your utility bills in a villa go a lot higher than you would normally think. Just because you've got a garden or just because you've got a bigger tank in your own villa, it just goes.
More water and electricity consumption for sure.
Definitely, and especially during the summers. Now we're blessed with wonderful weather at the moment. Towards the end of October, finally it's arrived. It's taken its time, so Hellstar's wild magic.
Oh goodness, yeah.
But it is something to consider. You can't make a quick decision like that. But we'll be discussing this in greater detail, hopefully, over the coming few days. We'll bring in our friend of the show, Sayyid Ghanem Al-Suwaidi. Shout out to you once again. And he is a real estate expert here in the Emirate of Sharjah. We look forward to welcoming you onto the studios one day, hopefully soon. And we'll continue the discussions in the real estate market in greater detail. Stay with us on the Morning Majlis. Up next, we'll be talking a lot about new developments. Rania just pointed out water on the moon. Is there something going on over there? Is there something going on?
Something we're going to talk about. It's very interesting. It's very new.
Oh, okay. Well, stay with us.
New discovery.
New discovery, indeed. Well, stay with us on the Morning Majlis. We'll continue these discussions. If you'd like to have your thoughts shared on the program, you can do so. 4215. You can DM us on Pulse 95 Radio on Instagram. And you can also catch our discussions live on YouTube. Search Pulse 95 Radio on YouTube, and then you can catch the discussions there. And you can also catch the video podcast as well. Subscribe and share away, and we'll be right back. And good news for everyone, and good news for Rania. It is Queen Bee once again.
Yes.
Join the conversation with the Morning Majlis, Pulse 95.
So we're talking about big moves, moving
Yeah.
places. We just talked about rentals and new destinations that you can have a new home. I would like to change my name now.
To what?
Ibn al-Khurfakan.
Ibn Khurfakan?
Because
Are you Ibn Khurfakan, or you are Ibn
Here-
Suhail,
yeah.
or you are Ibn Faz'a? Which one are you?
Ibn Faz'a, yes, for sure.
Which one of the things you talk about a million times are you?
That's the best thing, to be honest.
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
You gotta specify which one you're gonna go with.
I'm kind of embarrassed. Well, we're going to be talking a little bit more about the moon this time.
The
Ibn
moon.
al-Qamar. you can say.
Yes.
Come on, nice, nice.
Okay, now one of the reasons why I said Khorfakan was because I'm thinking about moving from my Al Hira neighborhood to all the way to Khorfakan because it was amazing, and I really like the coast there.
You
again.
move too much, man.
I do move too much,
Yeah.
but speaking about the reason why I want to move to the moon, and now Future Talk on Pulse 95 actually started because Umar al-Busaydi said he wants to move to the moon or move to move to Mars. But on the moon, everyone said, I'd love to move, but I can't have water, I'm not sure if I can live. But now scientists...
Well, even if they provided me with anything, I would not leave Earth.
Oh.
Yeah, it's nice
Plus,
here.
my zodiac sign is an Earth sign, so I'm sticking with that as well.
Is there a moon sign on Zodiac? No signs? No moon signs?
I don't think so. There is, I think.
We should do a dedicated segment on the
On
signs
zodiac
and what
signs,
they
yeah.
mean. That'd
There's
be really
water,
cool.
there's fire, there's air, and there is Earth.
Well, they're saying, though, speaking of water, they're saying there's more water than previously thought of on the moon.
Yeah, scientists have gathered some of the most compelling evidence yet for the existence of water on the moon, and it may be relatively accessible. And this discovery has implications for future missions to the moon and deeper space exploration. Now, with no significant atmosphere kind of insulating it from the sun's rays, it had been assumed that the moon's surface was dry. That was up until the 1990s, when orbiting spacecraft found indications of ice in large and inaccessible craters near the moon's poles. Then in 2009, imaging spectrometers on board India's spacecraft recorded signatures kind of consistent with water and light reflecting off the moon's surface. Even so, technical limitations meant it was impossible to know if this really was water, or H2O, or just hydroxyl molecules consisting of one oxygen atom and one hydrogen atom in minerals. Now, they've made a new discovery. What is it?
Yeah, it's a pretty major implications here for science, as well as the potential for occupying the moon or having a human base on the on that surface. Now, to be clear, scientists say they're not puddles of water that we found. Instead, they're water molecules that are so far apart that they do not form ice or liquid water. This is according to the lead author of the study that's being conducted at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt. And the study formed part of her thesis work in the University of Hawaii. Now, scientists said that these findings only deepened the puzzle of water on the moon. They said, quote, the discovery raises new questions about how water is created and how it can persist in the harsh, airless conditions of the sunlit lunar surfaces. And since 2008, scientists have been working on developing this mystery. They had known that ice deposits existed in the deep freeze of lunar polar craters, but what they've established now is the fact that water exists in one of the largest, sunniest lunar craters that is visible from planet Earth.
Yeah, the water was discovered at high latitudes towards the moon's south pole in abundances of about 100 to 400 parts per million of H2O, or water. And according to the professor of planetary science and exploration at the Open University in Milton Keynes in the UK, Mahesh Anand, he said this is quite a lot. It's about as much as is dissolved in the lava flowing out of the Earth's mid-ocean ridges, which could be harvested to make liquid water under the right temperature and pressure conditions.
Now, we're looking at assessments at the moment, isn't it? And we also saw at the start of this month and a few months earlier that phosphine was developed or was seen over Venus, and they thought, oh, this could be a sign of life on Venus. Only way you can find out is by going there. Scientists are planning it, and the only way you can find out water is on the moon is by start drilling. check what is under the surface of the moon. And scientists are planning that in NASA's Artemis mission plans to send a male and a female astronaut to the moon by 2024. Scientists are also developing a robotic drill to take samples of the lunar soil from depths of up to 1 meter as part of a Russian mission scheduled for the year 2025.
Yeah, and lots to piece together for scientists who at NASA described this as a revolutionary moment because now they can start to piece together how the moon's lunar water cycle works. Water on the moon comes from a few different sources. Some might arrive with meteorites that collide with the surface, but some also likely form when hydrogen from the solar wind reacts with surface oxygen to form what is called hydroxyl. Heat from the sun or micrometeorite impacts can also cause hydroxyl molecules to collide to form H2O. So that's what NASA have been saying within their statements. But they say exactly how and where water moves around on the surface of the moon remains a mystery. And they're hoping they could piece that together as well. And in 2022, NASA plans to send the Volatiles Investigating Polar Exploration rover to the moon's south pole to search for water ice, which could yield further clues about the nature of water on the planet.
While we take water for granted here on Earth, we even say this is as cheap as water.
Yeah.
Because it's so available here and easily available on our planet here. Water is actually a very expensive commodity in space.
It certainly is. Well, stay with us in the Morning Majlis. We've got to prepare for the news headlines and we'll be right back after that. Stay tuned to Pulse 95.
Join the conversation with the Morning Majlis. Pulse 95.
Welcome back to the show. We're talking about cloud gaming this segment as Facebook is the latest tech giant to hop in the fray and make some pretty big steps towards entering the cloud gaming industry. But what exactly is cloud gaming? To give a bit of a primer here, let's say that you want to play a video game. Today, you pretty much slide a disc into a game console or your computer's disk drive, and your game looks as good and only runs as fast as the processor inside your computer or your console. With cloud gaming, instead of having a console at home that you're playing with, it's stashed up in a server somewhere, kilometers away, thousands away, and you streaming games like you would stream a YouTube or a Netflix video. It's essentially a video, and when you press a button on your key, it sends a signal to the server that's as far away from you as it can be, and the device reacts accordingly, and that's basically how it works essentially. So this enables you to play any kind of game, no matter how bad your device is, as long as you have a great internet connection. And a lot of companies are seeing a great benefit in that. Some might say that the console as we know it might go extinct because one day all of us will play whatever we want on any device that we could. Now, Facebook is the latest tech company to get into the world of cloud gaming, but their offering is somewhat different from the competition. Unlike Amazon or Google, which will offer standalone cloud gaming services for a fee, Facebook will introduce cloud games to its existing app, several of which are playable right now.
Well, I think it just makes me miss those days when you could take the cartridge out from Sega and then blow into it and then,
Yes. Oh, nostalgia.
wipe the CD and then and wipe the floppy disk before you can add onto the computer. Now I'm not that old. You can catch YouTube to see I'm not that old, by the way. But yeah, it's incredible. I've always felt that, obviously when they had the Candy Crush thing, Facebook back in the days, I always felt that Facebook wants to tap into this market and really get people going.
Remember Farmville too?
Yeah.
Farmville.
That was a
People would
craze.
be going silly crazy.
Yeah.
To an extent that my uncle who lives in Saudi Arabia messaged me. Well, in fact, you get notifications saying, give me some, is it some
Send
kind
me a
of
drill. Send me, I don't know.
some kind of an amount that you got to send. And I was like, what's going on? What on earth is happening? But then I, obviously understand. And then now Facebook obviously coming up with this new goals and cloud games. But apparently they're not available on App Store. Am I correct in
Yeah,
assuming
that's
that?
right. The platform actually has 4 free games, including a PGA Tour Golf Shootout and Solitaire Arthur's Tale. And the company says it will be adding more in the coming weeks. And those games don't need to be downloaded because they obviously stream from the cloud. But yeah, they are saying don't try looking for those Facebook games on Apple devices. Now, although Facebook has tried multiple times to launch a Facebook gaming app with playable games this year, Apple has kind of spurned each attempt. The Facebook gaming app was launched back in August without any playable games after Apple rejected its app 5 times. Now, when you open the app in iOS, you can see other streamers playing games, but you can't play games yourself. So Facebook developed cloud games for Android alone, saying it's unsure of how to proceed on iOS.
Yeah, it's a whole nother thing now. It's very important that you mentioned it because Apple's been pretty much having a moment against cloud gaming overall. It isn't just Facebook, it's being blocked out. They've also would not allow iOS users to enjoy Microsoft's xCloud gaming service. Services like Google's Stadia as well are not permitted on the App Store. Some say that's because Apple wants to maintain that 30% cut on in-app purchases, and by having people have these cloud gaming platforms on their iOS devices, that it would take away from Apple's control over the situation. There also have been talks that Apple might start its own cloud gaming service, which is a whole nother thing, but certainly Apple's not been a happy camper with those cloud gaming services being launched. Looking at what Facebook intends on doing with this, it's not going to be a fully fledged exclusive next generation games. They're going to take their simple games that they've got going on right now on the HTML5 platform, and they're going to use the cloud gaming service to have more complex offerings, but still casual enough for your grandpa or grandma to play on the Facebook platform. And they're pretty much essentially making baby steps into cloud gaming for now.
I certainly belong to the grandpa and grandma crowd.
Me too.
High five.
I'm with you.
High five to all of you grannies out there. We joined the club.
I'm with you.
Yeah, well, stay with us on the Morning Majlis. I'm pretty sure Michael would be scratching his head at the moment, thinking what on earth is Majlis? At least 2 of the Majlis people are doing. Yes, stay tuned to Pulse 95. Lots to discuss this morning. Up next, we'll be talking about the world of books, because Sharjah International Book Fair's got lots of new programs to keep us all entertained. Stay tuned to Pulse 95.
If you liked this episode of The Morning Majlis, drop a like and subscribe.
95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.
Pulse.